gentlemen, welcome to State of the Game with JP McDaniel. Team Liquid's very own Tyler. The one and only Sean, Day 9 Plot. And finally, one half of the casting Archon, Artosis.
Field stabilized. Want to turn up the heat? We gotta move.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the new and improved State of the Game. Of course, the cat is out of the bag. Also, Sean's been replaced by a stuffed bunny, apparently. Not really sure what to talk about there, but hopefully he'll be joining us soon here. Also, tonight on the show, we'll be joined by Naniwal. He will be guesting us here, or joining us on the show, whatever that means. I guess guesting us is a way to say that as well. But first off, let's go ahead and run through... Oh, Sean's back.
Hey.
So let's run through the show. It's been a while since we've actually been on air and just talk about what is going on. Sean, I heard you were at DreamHack and I heard you had a tent.
I had a tent. DreamHack aided me in constructing a esports tent because DreamHack is really pushing all the competitions and the esports stuff. And last year there was just a hall where there was a little stage set up and they set chairs there. So this year they actually built this giant tent that was outside that had more space. And there's this gigantic Day 9 TV logo banner that was so cool that I even took it home with me. But of course, none of that is nearly as exciting as the fact that Huck won that tournament. And that is one of the few times during the final when I've actually been nervous and jittery. And if you actually watch the final game, you can see the camera is wiggling because I have so much adrenaline in my system. And when I went to interview him, I made an idiot out of myself because I wanted to be like, holy shit, dude, you won! High five! Bam! Just right there. Hit him in the head.
So what else have you been up to, man? I heard you casting some games over for the GeForce Cup. What's the name of that tournament?
Yeah, it's GSPA, the GeForce StarCraft 2 Pro-Am. Because it's a cool structure. There's the pro half, which is just invited pros, and the name list is really good. And I think you said that we were going to talk about it later. How many top Koreans are playing?
Yeah.
In 400 tournaments. So there's a really good mixture. But also there's the amateur half, which technically isn't just you have to be an amateur to sign up. It's that anyone can sign up. So there were amazingly 10,000 signups. So casting some of the amateur and some of the pro, most notably casted Destiny versus Bomber.
Yeah, that
or as I would say, Bumber, which was freaking awesome to see.
Artail Bomber.
Yeah, there you go. No, Saint Bomber. That's his name.
So what made that series? I mean, without spoiling it too much, why should people go check out that series first off?
No game was short at all. And they actually showcase a lot of really cool stuff. In particular, Destiny did some really interesting openings. Mm-hmm. And Game 1 was in a horrendous position at the start of the game and pulled it back and made it a very, very long game. So I'm trying not to spoil the lengths of the game specifically, which I'm sure you can find out by opening up the game and just looking at the bottom and being like, oh, it's that many minutes long for this video. But the series was phenomenal because I I thought the same thing that everyone else thought. I'm speaking for everyone here. I thought Bumber was going to absolutely wreck Destiny.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that's what was going to happen, and that was actually not the case in the slightest.
Well,
And also, like, 160 infestors were built in the first game, I think.
is that an exaggeration, or are you being for real, Sean?
No, I think that might be accurate. That's probably a little high, but it was definitely over 100, I think.
Well, I guess people are going to be going to tune into that right away. Destiny seems to be really improving. I mean, we actually gave him a ton of shit when he went and attended, I think it was Dallas maybe, when he first went there and played. But I really think he's come quite far in terms of actual skill. So let's move on. Artosis, what have you been up to? I know you were on vacation. Tell us a little bit about that, man, and just what's going on in Korea.
Well, you know, we needed a little vacation, myself and Tasos, and we brought Juani along as well. And, I mean, Cambodia was pretty awesome. We got a lot of rest done. And, you know, the first couple days I didn't think about StarCraft. And then I started trying to load up on the Cambodian Wi-Fi that I had, VODs. And it did not work. I couldn't watch any streams. I couldn't watch even YouTube videos over there, unfortunately. So I'm playing catch-up right now on VODs. I've just been doing casting and trying to catch up on all the tournaments I missed and everything. Still chugging through all the GSL stuff, and because there's been, oh my god, so much of that. And doing some DreamHack now finally as well. So I'm going to be a little bit behind on those tournaments.
Yeah, you missed like one of the biggest weekends in StarCraft 2 history when it comes to actual tournaments, man. You picked the wrong weekend.
What are you taking vacation
What
for,
the
you
fuck,
idiot?
I know, I was so stupid to do that, but I'm actually just so happy to be back and soon be going to the NASL finals. Cannot wait to go see Sean there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
In my natural habitat with smog and traffic. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be previewing the NASL finals a little bit later in the show. But how did Nanny Tyler, what? I forgot the actual mess that I made
Tyler
up.
Waugh.
Tyler Waugh. All right, so let's talk to Tyler Waugh.
Come on, Nanny Lur.
No.
Nanny Lur and Tyler.
Yeah. Nanny
Nanny Lur. All right.
Mike comes first.
All right, well, regardless, talk to me about DreamHack, guys, and then right after that we'll talk about Home Story Cup as well. But DreamHack, Nanny Waugh, how was it, man?
The group stage went really good, I think. I won against Braddock fairly easily, and then I met Moon. I really thought it would be an easy match, since I beat him on MLG 2-0. But he's a lot more experienced than me, and, well, he handled the situation a lot better. So it didn't go so well in the end.
What about
Actually,
the over...
I don't know the results of that series. Am I allowed to ask?
Yeah, I lost 2-0.
Why wouldn't you be allowed to ask, Sean?
I don't know. It's just like, well, it didn't go the way I would have wanted it to go. I was like, did someone die?
Yeah, but it was like...
Okay.
I scouted like a Nidus, and then my hand just stopped moving. So I sat there with like 2,000 minerals and full chrono boost on my Nexuses. Yeah, it was a weird situation for me.
What about just the DreamHack event in general? How was that?
It's really good compared to the previous years. There are a lot more fans now that follow esports. Before it was like only the casual people who came there.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's a lot better on that front. But the only bad thing for me was I couldn't find the nice tent. Like I was searching for like 30 minutes, and I went outside, and I was trying to go around, but I just came to a fence, so I had to go back in again.
Sean, was that tent hot at all outside? Or Sean? Maybe Sean's not here anymore. Oh, I guess Sean just got blue screen of death or something. We'll go back to him. He doesn't want to talk about his tent, but he also has the most epic picture where he was frozen. So we can't ask for any more than that. Tyler, talk to me about DreamHack, man.
Oh, that's pretty nice. I mean, first of all, me personally, my results, weren't as good as I wanted, but I thought it was a pretty tough group. Like, I had Naniwa and Rhett, and I also lost to a Terran that I lost to Jimpo. I shouldn't have lost to Jimpo.
I feel like we should actually like give you shit for that, man. Like, what?
He's not a bad player.
I
But,
didn't say that. I just expect you to beat him, man. That's all I'm
yeah, I mean, yeah, I should have. But even if I had 2 Terrans and then Naniwa and Rhett, and even if I beat both the Terrans, I wouldn't have made it out in my group. So, yeah, I need to be able to beat some good Zergs and Protoss too. But, I mean, the event in general is pretty nice. I mean, DreamHack, I've been there twice now, and it's just a sick event. Like, especially when you get into the arena, and there's a stage match, there's just so much excitement from the fans, and it feels like MLG by comparison feels like a little bit open because you're usually like in a pretty big venue, like a big hall.
Right.
But at DreamHack, they have like a theater room with, like theater seating, and it's just like an enclosed space, and it's a little bit different atmosphere, and it's pretty cool. So the finals were just an awesome experience, especially getting to see Huck beat a Korean.
Yeah.
All right, the final.
Let's talk about that for a little bit. Huck, the only foreigner now to actually take down the Koreans in a tournament, is that correct?
No, there were 2-1 MC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at Home Story Cup we had some more.
Well, that was okay. The first foreigner to take down Koreans, is that better than Naniwal?
Nah, that's okay, I guess. That was impressive, but yeah, sure.
Well, we'll get to Home Story Cup here in a little bit, but NASL Finals, Tyler, you're his teammate. I actually want to know, what did you go into his booth? I think it was in Game 3, maybe Game 4 after that. What did you go in there and say to him, if you can remember back?
Well, I actually went into his booth after every single game, and and before the first game too, we talked a lot. But after Game 4, I think I was just saying, he's outplaying Moon basically. That if he doesn't get surprised by anything Moon does, then he wins. But he just needs to be able to play safe, do a good strat, and then once it comes to pushing out on the map and positioning and setting up for a battle, he needs to not get out-positioned, out-flanked, and surprised by when Moon decides to move in, which is how he lost a couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when you're in a situation where you're like down 2-1 or something, and you got to go into Game 4, and if you lose that, then it's just over 3-1. You start to kind of panic. I mean, he had the first easy win with the 4-gate, which we planned out really nicely, and he executed it perfectly. And then he had a couple of messy games, and then going into Game 4, I think he's a little bit panicky. So I just had to try to be reassuring and remind him what the game plan was, and to not change anything and just fix his mistakes. And he did it.
I just realized that, Artosis, are we actually spoiling DreamHack for you?
Can't hear you.
Artosis, you muted your microphone.
Artosis is not so good with computers, guys. I'll just say that.
Muted his microphone?
Yeah.
Well, DreamHack Finals was quite weird.
Thank you, Naniwal, for filling in for Artosis as we see him scrambling about.
Hey, that's okay. I got the ball.
Alright. Talk to me about the finals, Naniwal. We'll let Artosis figure out his
I was really excited for the first 3 games. I think Huck played really smart with the 4-gate in Game 1. It really makes Moon wary that he can't skip defense in the next coming games, which is something you really have to do against a Zerg. I was a bit disappointed on Crevasse though,
Hello.
I must say. Huck
Hello.
scouted the
Hello.
in-base expansion. Yeah, hello, that's what it is.
Hello, everyone acknowledge that
Calm down,
Artosis' mic
calm
is
down.
working, and then we'll go back to Naniwal.
He
It
scouted
was
the in-base
working before. I have
expansion.
no idea what happened.
Okay. Artosis, you talk.
Hi. How's it going? No, I've watched some of the DreamHack. I know the results and everything, so don't worry. You guys go ahead. You don't
Okay.
have to stop talking about it for me.
All right. Naniwal, you were saying before you're so rudely interrupted.
Thank you, JP.
No problem.
Well,
man.
I'll go
He
on.
gave that to me, JP. I didn't interrupt him. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm trying to start fights.
No,
between
you
me
just
and-
interrupted him again, man. What's
No, I'm
going on?
interrupting you now, JP.
Oh my! Why did we bring you?
All right, go ahead, Nanwa. Please take over.
Well, he hit a probe and then scouted the in-base expansion of Moon. But Moon actually took the outside expansion. And then Huck made like 5 cannons. And Moon cancelled the expansion that wasn't even scouted. That was really surprising to me, but... Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess
Huck
he already
definitely got
planned it
lucky.
like before the game to go all in, probably. So that's probably why he did it.
I'm just very impressed the fact that we're already back on 4 webcams and I don't have to do anything special. So I'll just make sure that everyone realizes that. In the meantime, Artosis, what games have you watched from DreamHack?
I watched some of Happy's games because I was really excited to watch him go into this tournament. I've seen some of these VODs of his ridiculous micro, but it was mostly TBTs I saw. I saw some of Huck's games, not that high up in the bracket though.
Mhm.
I saw one match. He played Moon twice, right?
Yeah, and the
Am I
group
wrong on
stage
this?
as well.
Yeah, I saw his group stage against that. I saw some group stage games and stuff. I have to say, I'm like so impressed by Huck. That kid just keeps getting better and better. What a hard-working Gosu Protoss.
Well, do you think that I think in maybe it was him that said this, or someone else was talking about how Huck's just always kind of been this good. He's just never placed well in a tournament.
I
it's kind of like
disagree with
this.
that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Because
then.
I love Huck, man. Like, I really... Hold on, some jerk's trying to call me. All right. I really like Huck, all right? I really like this kid. I feel like before he wasn't this good. I think he just keeps getting better and better. He keeps working really hard, and I see such a difference in his play from a few seasons ago in GSL, like when he first got into Code S, as to now, playing in DreamHack and stuff. I think he's like twice as good. And I mean, maybe in practice he was still really good or something, but I'm a Huck stream watcher as well, and I just feel like he continually improves, and I think he's hit another level from what he was like when he got into the Code S. So I don't buy it, these people that say that he was always like the best player in the world. I think he just keeps getting better.
What are your thoughts, Tyler, about Huck and how he's improved?
Well, I agree with Dan a bit. Like, he definitely continues to improve, but there is a little bit of an element of luck to pro gaming. Like, even if you're the best player in the world, you can't just go win every single tournament. The best player in the world might have like a 20% chance to win a tournament, because tournaments are hard. You got to play a lot of people. You can be eliminated at any time. So, Huck probably had it in him to get a big win, since his MLG win from like last year, so long ago, when he first hit the scene. But he just hasn't done it yet, and that's just a little bit of bad luck. But he has been steadily improving, and then he just, I'm not saying it in a bad way that he got lucky to win 2 tournaments in a row.
It's hilarious.
But
you have to preface it.
Yeah, because people are going to say, like, oh, now I'm just saying he's lucky for winning. No. Yeah, he could very well be the best player at both of those tournaments, and it still takes a lot of luck to actually win them. So, I think it's a little bit of both. I'm glad he got the wins in so that, he can shut some haters up. He's gotten so much shit, like, for the top 3 control in the world comment. Although I guess he
Dude, that's like the
that,
worst
but...
thing to say. Come on, that was all deserved. That was during what was that event? That event was actually filled with drama. Now that I'm thinking back, I forgot the name though. I'll probably get shit for that. But Nanual, what do you think of Huck? You were actually kind of praising his play, saying he's a better player at Home Story Cup, right?
Yeah, I think he has some aspects that are a lot better than mine. For example, he knows how to control the game a lot better, the game flow, and when he can push out with different strategies and such, you don't really experience a lot of active players in Europe and America. Most people just build up their stuff and then attack, or expand and build up, harass, and that's all. But the Koreans, they have put a lot more thought into their games, and I think that's the main difference between me and, for example, Huck. But I don't I don't think he was this good before. No way. I think learning from MC is a big factor in his skill.
Talk to me a little bit about Home Story Cup. My initial thoughts are, well, actually, a question first. How do you say David's alias? Is it Takesen? Does anyone?
I don't know.
Does anyone actually?
He's
This is
German.
like the hardest thing to say in esports, man.
Takesen, maybe?
Is it like Takesen, Taki-san?
I think it's
Takesen.
Takesen.
No,
It's Takesen,
no way.
man.
Is it Takesen?
Well, I just say names the way that I think they should be said, and they get said that way. So it's Takesen. I'm sorry, guys.
All right, it's
Okay.
Takesen.
Hydrin Takesen, man.
Yep, Artorias has decreed it. Decreed it.
Noni,
So.
man.
But Takesen, aka Dennis, has put on probably the most entertaining tournament to watch, in the sense that there wasn't any big flair or anything like that. There wasn't a giant stage. There was a bunch of nerds sitting around a barbecue pit with Father White Raw cooking Korean barbecue and serving it on camera, and it really made for a great tournament from the spectators' point of view. What I want to know from Naniwa and Tyler is, what was it like from a player's point of view? How did you guys enjoy that that tournament? We'll start with Naniwa first.
Clearly, all I think about when I hear Home Story Cup is that I lost the tournament. But let me think for a bit.
All right, well, Tyler, then go ahead and we'll come back to Naniwa.
Well, I mean, it was pretty nice. I mean, you know, you got to hang out with some guys, some cool dudes. Like, it was a very spacious apartment. Like, the player hangout area when you weren't competing was really nice. And you got a bunch of free food and good conversation, good poker. Yeah, and you got to cast if you wanted to, have fun with that. And yeah, the like mood of the whole thing was really cool. I don't know. It was nice as a player. It would be kind of hard, I think, to like enjoy it and compete really hard though. So like you have to kind of make a choice of how seriously you're going to take it and live with that choice. Because if you kind of relax a bit too much and then lose, then that's not too fun. But if you really don't care, then that's fine. But if you take it really seriously, then I don't know, you got to focus on your games, and it's just another tournament. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed casting a little bit.
Yeah, actually, I saw you casting quite a bit there. Is that, I mean, a lot of the team members of Team Liquid, specifically TLO, have actually casted quite a bit. Is that something that we're going to see more from you?
I don't think so. I just do it occasionally. TLO, I think, is doing it a lot because he's injured right now and he can't play.
Right.
So he's just staying involved as much as possible, which means a bunch of casting.
So I think Sean is back with us. Sean?
I mysteriously returned. Look at this.
So, Sean, we're talking about Home Story Cup.
Huck and DreamHack. That's what happened when I was leaving. It wasn't that a serious.
Do we want to go back to that, Sean? Do you have anything to add?
Huck? Okay, one thing. Okay, this is the one thing I wanted to say. Oh yeah, that like one thing that is always kind of hard about playing the way that Huck plays is that he's really aggressive, and it's not this sort of like timing attack aggression. It's like, let me see if I can move out and do anything with these units kind of aggression. It's very free form. So what like. So the problem with that sort of style in terms of results is that you can have a lot of dumb-looking losses where you're playing really well and things look great, and then all of a sudden you just do a stupid attack and lose everything. But I'm really glad to see that Huck has just sat with such patience and ground for so many games that he's actually developed a lot of comfort with the style. And all of a sudden, instead of being this style that occasionally will cause him to lose dumb games because he attacked when he shouldn't have, suddenly he's this player who seemingly knows when to attack when no one else does. And when I watch his games compared to everyone else's, he's regularly just suddenly moving out with like 3 sentries and that's it. And I'm like, wait a minute. But like he can still find a way to make it work really, really well. and he's really good and responsible about moving forward and pulling back so regularly. So my favorite thing to say is the best part about attacking is that you can always retreat, but it's so easy to like not do that when you're trying to experiment. To be like, I'm going to take these units and just go until I have units no more. And then I will get another group and go for it. Artosis, you love this story, don't you?
Yes, I do. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. You're the man. So that's what I have to say about that.
What about Home Story Cup, Sean? What do you got to say about that?
I went out of town, so I have not actually seen the Home Story Cup.
Man. You and Artosis actually need to like set a date, a nerd date or something, and watch that together, man.
At least watch the PvPs.
Yeah, man.
We can watch Home Story Cup and Notting Hill.
Hey, man, that's your choice. I'm just saying watch the Home Story Cup 3. It was good stuff. Especially the grand finals were good. Like the last 3 sets of the entire tournament were all PvP and they were all extremely exciting. I feel like an asshole, but Naniwal, talk to me about the games that you played.
You mean the ones I lost or the ones I won? Do you mean like against MC or against Huck?
We'll start off with MC and then let's talk about Huck.
Ah, yes. Finally, some glory. Well, MC beat me at MLG. I got some really stupid looking losses there. So I went with the mindset I wanted to play a long game against MC and really show who's the better player in this matchup. And I think I proved in the long run, in long games, that I can at least compete with Koreans, at least in PvP. But
Sean or Naniwa, I think Sean has something to show you.
You would make me do that again, JP. That would be something. When you were like, I had some dumb-looking losses. I did like the dancing Zelda. That's like, yeah. But that loss can't count. That's like not allowed to count because you were like a millimeter away from seeing the Dark Shrine. But sometimes when you need a dance, you just dance.
Yeah, it just came into my head, you know. Like, how cool wouldn't it be to beat MC and then press slash dance?
It would
pretty
be
nice, eh?
Extremely cool.
But it wasn't that cool. What?
It was cool. Don't worry.
It was fine, I suppose.
So,
well,
yeah, keep going, man. Keep going. I interrupted you. I forgot.
Well,
sorry.
I was really happy winning that match because I know there is like me, Huck, and MC competing for the top spot in the, at least for the Protoss players outside of Korea when we play tournaments, even though MC is Korean. So it felt really good to beat him at least once. When I'm actually going to Korea soon, so I won't be there without hope at least.
I actually don't know if this has been asked yet, but Johan, where are you right now? Are you in Sweden at the time?
Yeah, I'm in the TLO house or whatever you want to call it, the pro gaming house in Sweden.
TLO house, yeah, I like that.
TLO house. Hey, Pro is behind me, but that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and my games against Huck were kind of weird. I beat him in the winner brackets, but then he learned quite smart that he should at least blind counter me one game because I went the same build every time. Because I don't like the coin flip situations that occur quite often when you play 4-gate against 4-gate or blink against, like, blink with no detection at all, stuff like that. I don't like to coin flip like that. So Huck went for like a Phoenix build, lifted my sentries, and then just took a game straight of that, really easily. But the last game of the tournament was probably the one that upset me the most. I had a huge lead, and he had like 40 supply less than me, and then he sniped my observer and killed my robo. There's no worse way to lose. But yeah, I should have realized that I was so far ahead and just made 2 cannons blindly. But yeah, it was a good experience, all in all.
Cool. Well, the next thing I actually have to talk about, and I'm not sure how this is going to go, but we've been seeing a lot of Protoss versus Protoss in tournament finals as of late. Specifically, of course, the Home Story Cup, we saw a bunch, which we just talked about. And The question I have written down is, why am I having fun watching this matchup all of a sudden? And the question earlier when I posed that, Artosis had an answer, so I'm going to see which answer he goes with here, and I'm going to throw it to you, Dan.
I was just teasing you, JP. I mean, you like to watch WoW as well, so I mean, it makes sense that you would love to watch PvP. But PvP has gotten better since the patch. People are getting smarter. It's becoming a better matchup. Unfortunately, I don't get to see much of it over in Korea since Terrans are killing everything right now. But I don't know. I haven't seen these PvPs that between Nano and Huck yet because I was on vacation. So I'll pass off. Let Tyler go ahead and give some really intelligent answer.
Here we go, Tyler. The intelligent answer, please.
Well, I don't think PvP's changed that much, but I think people are getting better at playing it. Mm-hmm. But strategically, I'm not seeing that many new strategies, but the builds are getting more refined. So people doing, experts at robo builds like Naniwa, he can do a robo build against anything except a blind Phoenix build. And, Blink Stalkers has become so robust. Like, you can just go Blink Stalker against anything, and then there's a million different ways to play it out. And it's a pretty sick build. And then the only thing the patch really changed for me, it's not really the 4 gates that mattered, but the Archons. Because now you can go Archons, and they're pretty sick. And it used to be like you'd go mass Colossus, and then if somebody could switch to Stargate units, they would, and it would own. But now you can't really do that because the intelligent thing to do, I think, is what Naniwa did in the Crossfire game against MC, is you actually just start going Archons. You can't go Stargate anymore. So we lost that, but I think the Archons are a little more interesting than the Stargate builds. So yeah, that's kind of my long answer. Short answer, people are just getting better at doing the same
Short
strats.
answer is JP like, wow, as Artosis already figured out, I guess. Naniwa, what are your thoughts on PvP?
I think it's still a very unexplored matchup. I don't think it's stuck at any particular 4-gate stage anymore, at least.
Yeah.
I think in the next few months we will really see PvP evolving, and I think it will evolve longer games with expansions and such. I really think so.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask both of you that, like, especially in the early days of Zerg vs. Zerg, it felt so Zergling Baneling focused, and people just kind of only did that, and there you go. But now that people have figured out how to secure one base, now we're starting to see like a lot of really long, crazy Zerg vs. Zergs. And I'm wondering, because I've been watching like a lot of Huck stream, especially recently, and I've seen, like you were saying, Tyler, a lot more Speed Zealots, a lot more Archons, making some interesting plays, but I've also seen somewhat of a shift back to more one-basing. I felt like there was this period where players were doing a lot more early expanding, or a lot more plans to expand somewhat early, but it seems like a lot of that has been sort of pushed aside in favor of doing more one-basis strategies. I don't know if that's accurate to say or not, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I think macro is the direction it's headed in, like Naniwa said. I think it's a mistake to stay on one base. I mean, there's some situations where you kind of get stuck on one base, but those are relatively rare. I think people are figuring out how to expand safely, and the guy who's planning to stay one base is the crazy guy, not the guy who's hoping to secure an expansion. But yeah, that's just the way I see it right now, especially like if both players go robo builds and go Colossus, then I think expanding is actually the stronger move now, and you wanna expand, and then just if the other guy stays on one base, you can actually defend it, and then you've won the game. And if the other guy doesn't stay on one base, then it's safe to make a lot of probes and get a macro advantage because you had the balls to expand first.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I think it's going. That's the way I like to play it, is to be the expander. But when you start getting into like different openings, if you didn't do a mirror opening, then it starts to get pretty tricky. Like, obviously, if you open like Blink Stalker against a Robo guy, then the Blink Stalker is going to expand first a lot of the time. And that's only natural because they have the mobility to counterattack as soon as you leave, so you can't really leave unless you make a mistake with your Stalkers.
Naniwal, what are your thoughts on Sean's question? You might have to rephrase it.
Say it again, Sean.
Yeah.
Well, the brief thing is that there's a lot more variety of units, in particular the exploring of like Archons and Speed Zealots, but I've also seen a lot of, especially Korean Protosses, reverting back to a lot more one base when two bases were just becoming more common, and what you think the sort of trends are in terms of the expansion timing.
In PvP or?
Yeah, in PvP specifically.
I don't really know why that would be the case. I don't play on the Korean server, so I don't really know why they do it. In Europe, there's no problem though. The whole expansion, but I don't think there is so many top players in Europe or America, so it's really hard for me to comment on that. I can't really give an honest answer unless I experience it myself.
Artosis, you're a Protoss player. What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, you play Protoss.
Is his mic not working again?
You mute-ass Protoss. Ex-Terran, once upon a Zerg as well.
Dan, what are you doing, Dan?
And you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Skype says my microphone.
Is this going to become like your
you hear me,
thing?
so- Yeah,
You're
that's my
gonna-
thing.
you're just gonna
Guys, Artosis, your microphone
That's-
seems very quiet.
I have something to say about this. It makes sense that you suddenly see this quick reversion after a lot of expanding to one bases again, especially in Korea. As you go to expands, as Tyler was saying, well, if your opponent expands, you get more greedy. Some of this greed is going to come on blind and everything. And people are going to get more and more comfortable playing these more greedy expansion-based styles. So if the metagame is shifting more towards, taking expands and expand versus expand, and how can I get a little bit better on my expand, then obviously as soon as you go at that one extra step of, instead of being just a completely safe expand, is trying to be a little bit more greedy as an expand, then someone's going to come in with a really sharp one-base build and just bludgeon you with it, and then move on to the next round of GSL. I mean, that's all that matters is like your one win. It's not about being good long-term. It's can you get to the next round? Do you stay in Code S? Do you get to stay in Code A? That type of thing. That's my thought. Okay.
But I think that SC2 PvP is similar to SC1 PvP with this, and I guess I'm the only expert on SC1 PvP here, so you'll just have to take my word for it. But there was always that tension going on between, someone who their game plan going in the game, I'm not going to expand, and I'm just going to punish him if he expands. And if he's not expanding either, well then we're mirroring each other, let the best player win. But there were builds figured out, very clever and precise, refined builds that allowed you to expand against someone who's really aggressive. So I mean, it's just a natural tension of an all-in player wanting to punish a greedy player, but StarCraft 2, the way the matchup is developing is the last thing to be figured out is the safe build where you expand, and you're not too greedy, so you're okay against one-base builds, but you build some probes, so you're okay against the greedy players too. And that's the hardest thing to figure out. It's the last thing to be figured out, but that's what's being figured out now. I think that's probably the way Naniwa would like to play. And once he gets to Korea and is able to practice against good people, he'll probably figure it out pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's so true, especially I still remember season 1 of GSL when it's there were 60 of the 64 players you'd never heard of, and they were all cheesing. It was all these 7 pooling proxy raxing cannon rushing nibnards, and it was just so tragic tuning in, Dan, and watching you and my brother commentate and just be
it was painful, man.
Hold this off. We've been casting for 30 minutes and it's now the final 4th match of the evening. We're gonna go home really soon. Oh,
that was a terrible time for StarCraft 2. That was absolutely. I think that's when everyone was like, "Is this game actually going to make it? Why is everyone cheesing every game?"
I know, it was so funny. People always like posting these big articles, like the pain of esports truth and all this stuff.
Someone's going to write an article with that name now.
But I think it's really interesting. If I don't know if you have access to this information, Dan, but if there's like a graph, the average game length of GSL over time, because I can definitely say from a viewing experience, it has absolutely gone up, and now you just see players doing long-term stuff. And even if you look back, even a month or two ago, that there were so many two-base all-in plays. I even remember StarTale Ace, and I feel bad singling him out because he's really good and really successful. But I even remember watching one of his games shortly after IEM in Hanover, where IEM in Hanover, he would basically get a really quick robotics facility, get 2 Colossi, and then do an attack with just 4 or 5 gateways worth of stuff, and these 2 really fast Colossus with range, and he'd be winning almost every game with this push. And then I saw him do the same thing against the Zerg in GSL, except he had 6 gateways, and the attack didn't work, and Ace was totally dead and just left. And I was kind of like, oh, well, it was kind of funny because it's kind of like what you were saying, Tyler, that the last thing people tend to do is the safe way, which would be, once I have a second base, how do I get my third, and then my fourth, and how do I just have a style that allows me to keep taking expansions and secure his. And there's just so much. Can I win now? Let's do it. I'm in.
Yes.
Yes. I stopped talking and I was expecting moderator JP to come in and be
I'm thinking here. I'm thinking which matchup I'm going to throw to first.
I was like, did I not have a point?
Sorry, I had a DJ Wheat moment. I put my hand up and wanted the inspiration, and I went like this, and it just didn't come to me. I guess since we've been off air for a while, we really haven't had any chances to obviously talk about the state of the game. We've talked about PvP. I just want to kind of run through the matchups. Obviously, this can get kind of long, so we'll be somewhat short on a lot of them, I hope. But
only 8 to go, man.
Yeah, I know. PvT, where do you guys think that stands? Just real brief. We'll start with Naniwell first.
I think PvT is the most balanced one right now, probably. From what I've seen in Korea, 2-rexing is very, very common right now, because it allows you to put pressure on a fast nexus, while at the same time taking a quite quick command center. But I feel that there is no coin flip in that matchup. For example, against Zerg, they can build units randomly and then make drones sometimes. So I really like PvT. It feels like the better player wins, the majority of the time.
Instead of just going through everyone, is there anyone that disagrees with that, or is everyone pretty much on the same note?
Well, I mean, completely ignoring how it feels right now. I like the fact that it feels like there's possibilities in TVP specifically. That now we're starting to see a lot of people not go for the usual expand with 3 racks and get a faster starport style. There's tons of deviations on that, but now also people are doing a lot more ghost fast pushing stuff, so that pumps me up. I also feel like Blue Flame Hellions or something that haven't been explored enough in that matchup. They're kind of finicky, but I'm curious to see because there's so much zealoting and so much sentrying that a lot of players are doing right now, and there has not been much incorporation of the Blue Flame Hellion, partly because it's not really been needed, because you just control your Marauders alright, and there you go. But again, I like the fact that it feels healthy.
Tyler or Artosis, do you guys want to expand on PvT at all, or should we move on to
No,
PvZ?
I think it looks pretty good. You can hear me, right? Got to make sure.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. I think it seems pretty good. It seems to be overall balanced. I actually still don't like the way Terrans are playing. I'd love to see people experiment more with the mech units. I mean, I know it's harder and stuff, but it was hard in StarCraft 1 as well. But it seems good overall, and I feel like there's way more options than even what we're seeing right now. And we even see people starting to try more with ghosts and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's a start. But as Sean said, I want to see more Blue Flame Hellions. I want to see more Siege Tanks. I don't want to see more Thors. Forget about Thors. But
not a fan of that.
I feel like we could see a lot more in the matchup than we are now. And I see nothing wrong with it at the moment.
Tyler, do you want to add on anything? If not, go ahead and talk about PvZ.
Well, Ghosts. I just think Ghosts are really strong, and partly because of the patch that costs less gas, but there's a lot of sick Ghost timings that Terrans are doing now, and always having Ghosts in your composition is really strong. I see it pretty often. But PvZ,
Infestors, man, they're pretty good.
Yeah, Infestors. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to make a new build again. The High Templar Rush, and it's actually looking pretty promising. I did it in a few matches publicly, but mostly I'm still developing it a lot. It's definitely not a finished product, but I think it'll eventually become safe, and it's going to be pretty sick. It's very StarCraft 1-esque, but it's like, you get 2 bases up, and you just get High Templar as fast as you can, and then you let them build up their energy, and then you have a really sick timing with like a million storms, and there's not like a really good counter that Zerg can do, at least that I can think of or that I've seen.
When you say safe, like I've seen your build a couple times, and is it like I assume it's like right as you're getting your expansion up, a little after your storms finish? That's like the scary time, or is it a little before the storms? I felt like it would be like right after the storms are done, and you can do like a storm, but they're rushing in with a bunch of roachling, and you don't really have that many damage-dealing units.
Yeah, well, the way I fixed it is get hallucination. I've worked the hallucination in the build, and so you just hallucinate and constantly hallucinate phoenixes and just get imbalanced map hack scouting. So you would go to extremes with adjusting your build based on, how heavily they're roaching and linging and stuff.
So, I'm curious. Let's say you spotted me and I'm like going roachling all in against you, because I would. Would you just like flood cannons? Like, what would be your follow up?
Yeah, a lot of cannons is mainly because it's on 2 gates, so you can't really. I mean, I'd probably go stalkers out of my gates, and that would slow down my High Templar a bit. But mostly it would be cannons, and that there's really nothing wrong with that. Like they work. Yeah. You just gotta be careful that the Zerg isn't sneakily doing something else. If you're sure it's just gonna be like a frontal roachling attack, then you're gonna have maybe, even with hallucinations burning your sentry energy, you're still gonna have maybe 8 force fields to work with. And, by default, I get 2 cannons, and you can add, 3 more cannons. And that doesn't really slow down High Templar that much, 450 minerals. But depending on the shape of the terrain, what map it's on, 5 cannons and 8 force fields can do a lot to slow down a roachling. But yeah, it's a pretty sick build, and the composition you end up with is really strong, and that'll be cool. But that's all very hypothetical at this point. As far as what's actually going on in PvZ nowadays, I think it's like Naniwa says, it can be a lot of luck-based stuff. But when it's not luck-based, it's actually a pretty fun matchup. It's a lot about micro, it's a lot about the big battle, but then there's also some multitasking stuff going on. Protoss is doing more harass, a lot of Warp Prism harass I see. Like, Huck can't go into late game without getting a Warp Prism, it seems like. So, that's fun. I think it's a pretty cool matchup, but Zerg maybe needs some better scouting.
Dan, what are your thoughts?
I really like PvZ and ZVP both right now. I think they're both really good and really playable, and both, I feel, again, it's just so unexplored. There's like so many more possibilities. For instance, I haven't used a Colossus in PvZ in 2 months. Like, as I've been looking into Immortal High Templar builds, probably something somewhat similar to Tyler, but a little bit off. I actually Nanoa vs Slush in NASL. Remember that game, Nanoa? Yeah,
Shadow Temple, right?
Yeah, man. I took that like 3 Immortal timing, and I built like an empire of a game off of that. Where like it's beautiful, man. I'm like so proud of this style, man. I just took the opening from Nanoa because it's like this tight timing against
Artosis playing Sim Naniwa.
Yeah, man.
I got my Naniwa build a pool.
I'm a busy guy, so I can't sit around and figure out this hard opening stuff like Nanoa can. So I just take that, and then I'm like, all right, how can I branch this versus everything? And you can do Immortal High Templar against Zerg, and it's actually so good because the Colossus ball is actually a ball. You have this ball of units, and you walk around with a ball all game long. But with Immortal High Templar, you can have units in different locations. You can harass a lot quicker. It feels so nice. Like, Corruptors no longer do anything. You don't really care about Broodlords. Ultras aren't scared because you have Immortals. You get more upgrades because nothing's as expensive. I love it. But on the other hand, with Zerg, there's a couple new styles coming out that I'm actually a little bit scared of. I don't know if you guys have seen much of this new, semi-new Korean style of the +2 Zerglings, the Roaches.
Sheth has been doing a lot of that, hasn't he?
The counterattacking stuff. I'm not sure if I haven't seen Sheth doing that really, but like you rush to +2 Zergling attack and you're just kind of all over the place, always counterattacking, and you literally do like a few moving shots with Roaches as you like go through the Protoss base. You get out immediately, so you don't lose any Roaches. You don't care if the Lings die. They're free. They cost nothing to make Lings. You all know that.
They're like bunkers.
They're like bunkers, man. They're free. When they die, you get the minerals back. It's fine.
I was going to make a Zergling bank joke, but
I've seen this a little bit on the Korean server where they do this, and they're getting a good economy during this because Zerglings are so cheap, and you go right into Banelings with drop, obviously. And what you do is you kind of like, here, I'm going to use my hands, like, here's your Zerg army coming up, right? And then the Protoss army's coming in to the side to try to defend, and then you come with your Banelings and Overlords, and to micro against that properly, the Protoss has to move back, and then you move back, and there's this funny little zoning dance going on while you're killing stuff over here with your other stuff. So I think that style's so cool, and it's not enough people are doing it. And also, there's one other style I've been talking about with Hydra a little bit now. Apparently, Morrow has some really tight Baneling play.
Yeah, he does a lot of Baneling drops.
God,
too.
I stole the shit out of Morrow.
I haven't seen any of these Morrow replays. I'm gonna have to have Nanoa steal some for me while he's there. But maybe you played with him, Nanoa, in that style. But I'm hearing that Morrow's style right now is actually like insanely good in the matchup.
Yeah, he even does this cool stuff where he'll, like for instance, if you're going for like a faster Robotech, just drop the Banelings and go straight for Infestors and just have like Zerglings with ridiculous upgrades. He'll be at 2-1 really fast. And then Neural Parasite and Fungal Growth en masse, and it's like really, really obnoxious.
I have hit that a little bit on the Korean server where they just steal everything with Neurals. They just like grab 3 Colossus. You're like, oh, that sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, I've played against Morrow like a million times probably, so I didn't really know that style, but what I found as its weakness is that you open Stargate play from an expansion, and then you patrol 1 Phoenix outside each base that will always spot the drops, so you can always react in time, and as long as you don't lose any probes to the Banelings, it's suddenly not that effective anymore. Well, it's still good, but if you don't spot the Overlords, you will die instantly. Because if you lose 20 probes at an expansion, you can't come back.
Of course.
But yeah, you basically just have to turtle up, and then you have to take a fight with Colossus and Archons, a really expensive army, against like a Baneling composition, where you will just win because your army is so much more cost effective.
What about some of the other mirror matchups? I'm not sure how much Tyler and Naniwa will be able to speak to this, but Artosis from... What?
I want to talk about TVT and ZVZ, JP, if we could. Is that alright?
Yep, yeah, both the other mirror.
Alright, TVT is getting so much better now, thank God. Alright, have you guys seen Puma in the Team League?
I've heard about him.
I haven't.
I haven't seen him, but I've heard about him.
Alright, well, This kid was like actually, as I say in every GSL cast about him, insane in StarCraft 1.
Is he your new Clyde? Oh no, in StarCraft 1. Sorry.
He was my original
That
Clyde,
was
right?
low, JP.
Let me tell this is an actual story. You can ask Hydra. The day I moved into the Eastro house in South Korea 3 years ago, I went into the basement. They had a Terran only room, and I stood there and I watched everyone for like 3 hours. This was like C Really and Puma and Fancy, who's Bomber now, and all these amazing Terrans. And after that time, I said, "This guy's the best." And he goes, "Oh, that's Puma. Yeah, he's really smart." That's a true story. So, anyways, Puma is like...
You told
Dude,
that story just to say that you said Puma was really smart.
I called it, man, 3 years ago.
3
This
years
guy
ago.
is insane.
You are
and
a prophet.
The thing is, he just makes more siege tanks than anyone. He's like, "Sup, I have 23 siege tanks, you have 7. I'm going to win. What are you going to do about that?" Nothing, that's what. So, the fact that TVP is turning into siege tank ores again is actually really good. Yes, the games are probably going to be a little bit longer. I'm fine with that. But it's really going to reward super intelligent play, positioning, and stuff like that. And TVT, I'm so excited about the match. It's getting so much better. It's like the less I see the Marauder, the more I want to switch to Terran. So I am so happy about that. I don't know if anyone else has anything to say about TVT. Go ahead.
Sean, you still with us?
Yeah, no, I'm here.
TVT, what do you think?
I can just tell you that it's always been one of my most favorite matches to watch. Just 'cause it
You
feels-
actually liked watching Viking Tank back in the day?
Well, okay, like it was.
I just gotta be real,
that-
man. Like that wasn't fun for anyone.
Everyone was so terrible, JP. That doesn't count.
Well, I mean, yeah, this is like during the time. It's like, Sean, did you enjoy tuning into the GSL and watching your brother and Dan cast cheese all day? And I'm gonna stand up for myself. I did enjoy that, JP. I watched every single match live, and I love lines of tanks doing nothing with Vikings patrolling around until the game becomes 3 tanks and 45 Vikings on either side, and suddenly a guy builds a Marauder, and everyone's like, "Shit, he's the Bonjour." Like,
So TVT now, Sean. It's good?
yeah, man, that was a rant. Yeah, like I'm excited to see it just continuing to expand because it's always felt like it's the matchup where you have the most fluidity to switch between mixes of units throughout the game, and it's just continuing to have that trend, which is great.
Tyler and Nanny, you guys have any thoughts on TVT, or should we jump to the other mirrors so Artosis can rant? Artosis
It's more
rant.
fun now than before, though. I think.
It's more fun?
Yeah, it's a lot more fun to watch. When it was Viking Tank, it was kind of boring, I think. But once they started to make this biomech, it's suddenly quite exciting to watch it. Like when I saw Thorstein against some Terran, it was really fun to watch at least. I don't know who it was.
Tyler, you got any thoughts?
No.
Nah.
No?
ZVZ Artosis, go.
ZVZ? Alright, I'm
Talk
really
about
excited
July
about
Nest
ZVZ
T,
as
maybe.
well.
Did you cast that, by the way?
No, I didn't cast it, but I watched it this
Okay.
morning.
All right.
And it made me jiggly and wiggly. It was such a great match.
I got jiggly and wiggly and all
I
sorts
did,
of other
man.
positive things to be about a matchup.
Absolutely. It was awesome. Anyone who hasn't watched it yet, definitely go watch it. I've been waiting for mutas to get used more in ZVZ again, and it just, I mean, I remember back when Infestors first took over ZVZ from mutas in Korea, at least. There was still a lot of muta play in Korea for a long time, and the Wind was still trying to make muta work in ZVZ for a very long time, and he almost did it all the time, but you would win because you have this 8-second fungal, and the Hydras kill the mutas in that time. And so now that the fungal's down to 4 seconds, I just feel like, where are the mutas? People should be bringing out mutas again, and well, Nesty did that. Now, is this something that's going to stay around? I don't really know, but if Nesty is doing this, and he's been kind of talking about a new style in ZVZ, I mean, this guy is the absolute best at the old style at the previous patch. No one in the world can even come close to him at it, so I'm excited to see where ZVZ goes from here. Is it going to turn into pure Muta? Is it going to... And, of course, if it's pure Muta, does it become Muta Queen? Does it become Muta Corruptor? I don't know. But anything is better than watching more terrible Baneling, Roach, Ling all-in crap.
Okay. Sean, you got thoughts about ZVZ?
I actually have not gotten the chance to see as much ZVZ as I really would like as of late. I just would say that I'm definitely excited that we're seeing more Infestor stuff come into play. Because I always feel like there is a unit or like a technique that allows you to pull ahead just like sort of constantly. Something like a drop. If you can drop well, it will always allow you to just sort of pull ahead in play. All these little techniques to pull ahead are generally the opposite of a huge, direct, straight-up army engagement where you just whack at each other, you know. So I'm pumped to see like the way that people are using infestors, where they can maybe make a couple of mistakes and be 10 food behind, but still have great fungals and great infestor or infested Terrans, and pull back ahead. Because I hated when Zerg vs Zerg was like, all right, do we not Didaling Baneling? All right, on the count of 10, we're only going to make roaches. Ready, set, roaches! And then they just, oh my god, and roaches would be... And you can split your roaches up and counterattack, but then you have to worry, because then when his roaches hit your roaches, you have fewer roaches. You know, it was like dumb. So I'm just very, very, very excited for it.
Naniwal, Tyler, any thoughts, ZVZ? Probably
No.
not. Yeah, didn't think so. Artosis, talk to me about ZVT and how infestors are a good unit.
Well, they're awesome. I think you kind of caught me off guard there. I mean, who doesn't know infestors are really quite great? What do you mean, like openings or late game or what?
Just ZVT in general, man. Is it favoring any of the races right now? Is it a pretty...
You know, I understand. I agree most with the Zergs, because all Zergs do in some way have a problem with the way Zerg is and the matchups of Zerg. And the Zergs I find myself agreeing with the most are the ones that say, you know, ZVP is kind of fine, but ZVT is a little bit hard right now. And when I hear that, I kind of somewhat agree with it. But I don't know. There's still a lot to be discovered in the matchup. We're seeing more and more like Hellion play. We're seeing some more Banshees added in. I like some of this random 2 Starport Banshees. I feel like that needs to go in a little bit more. Just because, it's kind of like a gimmicky, cheesy, sorta, kinda-ish thing. But by mixing that in, sometimes you're going to keep Zergs more honest. Like, for instance, for anyone who watched FXO against Xenex, when T-Gun did an Infestor opening, I'm like, oh my god, I love Infestor openings against Terran. But he didn't do it safe, because it wasn't safe against the Banshee build. So, I mean, things like that are going to make someone like T-Gun, you know, adjust his build slightly, and he'll be a little bit less powerful, because he has to, like, buy a Hydrosten or an extra Queen or something early on. But that's good for the game. You should try to evolve it to be safe against everything if you're going for a macro build. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this, but there you go.
Sean, you still with us?
I am indeed.
ZVT, thoughts?
I don't have too much of a thought of ZVT, just because, I mean, I feel like, though there's some experimentation, there's a lot of the old style stuff that's still been working, but the number one thing I would say that in all Zerg matchups that excites me is that Zergs are suddenly starting to embrace the fact that their units are faster than everyone else's, and doing a lot more counterattacks. I mean, in Zerg vs Protoss, suddenly that's just like one of the big norm styles. I mean, even going pure Ling Muta with good attack upgrades, and never engaging ever. And you can still win a lot of really solid games in that way. But I haven't seen as much of that in ZVT. But
I'll wait my turn, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, I know there are examples of it, which we shall let Artosis do. But I still distinctly remember that one game between Sen and Marine King Prime, when Sen got completely screwed by some early loss of his gold, and then just whipped 16, 20 Zerglings around, killed off all the workers at Marine King's Natural, and that was that. And he won the game pretty quickly and easily thereafter. And it was so amazing, because for a long time afterwards, people still weren't using counterattack as like a typical tool in their strategy set. So it was neat. It was neat to see that then, and I kind of want to see just more counterattacking pop up. And now over to Artosis in the top right corner.
Thank you. I want to mention, you did mention, I forgot to say this, about Ling Muta and Xenix's line in his play. I'm fascinated by it. I'm so fascinated by it, because not using Banelings just makes me all tickled inside. I mean, this guy, amazing, and I don't know if it's something that can actually stick around, but I almost feel like it can, because everyone's going so siege tank heavy. This should kind of, if more people would use the Ling Muta style, because that's going to be so strong against people that are like, well, I need a ton of siege tanks because I'm afraid of, Banelings or whatever. You're so mobile with it, first off, as you said. You get way more mutas way quicker, so you can harass a lot more. And it's going to do very well against that style because the siege tanks actually, the Zerglings don't care. Go ahead, shoot us. We're hitting your Marines. You're going to deal more damage to your own Marines. And as soon as you break like one army with that build, if you like just play it pretty perfectly from there, I feel like what is Terran to do from there? I'm not really sure. So I'm like the hugest Xenix line fan right now. I wish I could just have this replay folder,
And another thing a little pepper to dash out on that nice entree you served, Artosis. With the Ling Mutalisk style. Okay, well, let me back up. It's gonna be more than just pepper. Okay, it's gonna be like a whole marination on this. Zergs for a long time had a way of playing that can only be described as dumb and silly, where they would say, "All right, I'm gonna throw a dart at the timeline of the game, and wherever it hits, that's when I stop making drones. And I'm going to make 115 drones, and then after that point, I'm going to only make units for the rest of the game, and if I lose, then rats." And you had these sort of goofy-looking games where Zergs would not lose after they stopped making drones. If you got past that point where they stopped powering, they would always win, and it would be easy. I even did this style for a while, and it felt easy after that point and nearly impossible before that point. And anytime you have a strategy that's so good in the late game, but you're having trouble getting there, it means that you can make all sorts of sacrifices to the strength of that late game strategy by weakening your early game, because it's fine if you go from an amazing, unbeatable late game and then drop it back down to something like a pretty good late game where you still have an advantage. And the way to do that is by sacking big moves or big drone plays in the early and mid game. But like with this whole Ling Mutalisk stuff that Lion's been doing, so many of these early attacks that were designed to mess with the only droning Zergs, so many of them don't work. Like the 3-tank, bunch of Marines and a medevac push is just like suddenly really easy to stop if you just start flooding Zerglings and then get some Mutalisks out. You almost want it to happen. So I'm really excited to see that sort of play push around all the old typical timings.
So is there a matchup we haven't discussed yet? We've done all the mirrors, done ZVTs. I think we've covered everything, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
So next up on my little cheat sheet here, Sean, you actually tweeted that you had an announcement of sorts. So we'll do that, and then we'll continue on with the cheat sheet. So, Sean, the floor is yours.
Yeah, and of course I'm happy to discuss it on the show because this is a discussion show. But basically, today, it's a little project that's been in the works for a while. I am announcing a new league, a team league, that's a little different than the usual leagues that have been out there. Instead of it being the teams as like the top StarCraft 2 clans that are out there, the teams consist of the following companies: Amazon, Dropbox, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Twitter, Zynga, and Yelp. So it's a lot of the big tech companies whose employees are working with me to create this really just fun, friendly league where the format is essentially like it's like the old Brood War team leagues, where they have 4 people play and then the 5th match comes around and it's like the ace match and that sort of thing. But I'm really, really excited about this league. It's called the After Hours Gaming League. You can check it out at afterhoursgaming.tv. But I think a lot of people have heard that like a big push for me is to grow esports in the mainstream media. Because definitely, great sites like Team Liquid exist for news for someone like me, where I would go there and that's where I go to hang out and that sort of thing. But there's a lot of kids, whose like moms might not understand gaming, or even other companies out there like a restaurant where people are just working there and they've never been familiarized with esports. And I personally believe that that is such a great fun activity to do. Just playing games and having fun with gaming, that on a Friday night, watching the GSL is a great thing to do. Getting your buddies together on a Saturday for a casual pickup game of Ultimate Frisbee or a casual pickup game of StarCraft 2 is equally just as awesome. So I'm excited that this is a chance for you to view not the ultra grandmasters duking it out for, these incredible games. You can easily watch those at big tournaments, such as the NASL that I'm casting this weekend, but that you can get the chance to see people who are these brilliant engineers and employees of all these really well-known companies, and helps legitimize esports as a whole. So I'm super, super pumped for the league, and there, I believe, are some games that are already up and posted at afterhoursgaming.tv that everyone should go to. And I personally would really strongly encourage everyone out there to try to get people into it and to try to get people to watch it, specifically people that might not be as involved with gaming. Because, again, I really value this idea of growing the legitimacy of it and just elevating the level of discourse around it. That I like the idea of a kid who plays games and his mom doesn't quite understand it and thinks it might be kind of weird, but then he can say, no, look at, Google, where you're always Googling things, those engineers, well, they have a StarCraft team that are playing this. And the Facebook games that you play that, that are made by Zynga, yeah, well, they both play that. And Amazon, where you order your stuff from, they are on this team. And it's been an absolute delight to, interact with all these companies because, the people are just, they're really friendly and great. And it's kind of funny because, when you hear something like Google, you tend to just think of, the homepage and just, the search engine. And it's just like this entity. And then you get to know the people, and they're all really friendly and great. So it's a very casual, fun environment. There's a lot of fun cheering that goes on between the teams, when they're playing. But they're all really friendly with one another, and those companies were just as instrumental as helping the league put together as anyone. So I'm very, very pumped. Hype.
So is this going to be? Are you going to feature this as a weekly kind of every week, once a week or something, or how's this going to be streamed?
Yeah, the structure of it is that there's 8 teams, and they're just put into a round robin. And each match is a best of 5 in the old Brood War style, where the maps are announced, and each team submits who the first 4 players will be. And then for the first 4 games, those are played, and if they're still tied 2-2 after the first 4 games, then each team chooses another person to send out, and that's the ace match. And that is the deciding match. So that's the individual game structure. Every week there will be there will be 4 1v1s played between the teams. And after 7 weeks, there will be a full ranking distribution from the round robin. And the top teams will have a playoff. And then on August 19th, I believe is the date, there's going to be a live broadcast of the finals from Facebook.
And the other question is, which I think you might have to answer quite a bit, is what incentive do people have for watching the non-Grandmaster players playing?
Well, what's really nice about the structure of StarCraft 2 is that you don't have to have the tip-top, unbelievable, incredible level of play to have extremely enjoyable, really fun games. As a funny example, a lot of people say that they prefer college sports over NFL because of the fact that a couple more mistakes are made and that they can have some sort of identity, some sort of tie by saying, oh, that was my school. If there's someone out there who really likes Twitter, then they can cheer on the Twitter team. Or if they really like, using Yelp to find their favorite restaurants, they can definitely cheer for Yelp. And also, everyone who's listening, you can think about the stories that you tell to your friends. In a sense, StarCraft is like this story factory that happens. That, I still remember, when my brother and I first plugged one of these huge, giant PCI cables from one computer to another. It looked like a giant printer cable, and played against each other for the first time. And we talked about that game for a full day, even though in retrospect we were totally awful. Or even now, where there's people who watch the Grandmaster level players play, they can play a game at bronze level against another Bronze League player and still have an incredible match and a really good story that they want to share at the end of the day. So like that to me is what makes it like really, really exciting.
Cool, man. Well, apparently we've already crashed the website, so that's good.
Perfect. Yeah, I was kind of intending for that to occur.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to be checking that out over the days, especially when the site comes up. It sounds like a great initiative. So let's go ahead and move on. We've, of course, MLG Columbus happened. I think all of us were actually there. I just wanted to say that event was probably the best event I think I've been to, but I work for MLG, so maybe that sounds a little bit bad. But I do want to talk about MLG Anaheim because the groups were just released a couple days ago, and some of the players on the call are obviously in that, specifically Naniwa. Naniwa, Pool A is yourself, Hey Pro, Tilo, and Huck. What do you think about that pool, man?
I think it's one of the harder pools, but it will all depend on the Korean and the guy from the open bracket. Huck will be a real hard player for me to beat, especially since I've played him so many times already. I think it was like 10 games at Home Story Cup.
Do you guys hear the explosions going on outside?
Yeah, is LA going crazy, Sean?
Oh my god.
Sean's actually in a war zone right now. I'm going to tell you live.
Oh my gosh.
So,
that's nuts.
Naniwa, do you fear... I mean, obviously Huck and you have met in recent tournaments. What about TL Hey Pro?
Easy win.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding. No. Hey Pro is actually really good, regardless of what people actually think about him. Tilo, I don't really know if he's been playing at all, considering his Carpathon. I never ever predict that I'm going to win or lose. I just go and make the best I can, and then I'll see how it turns out.
Artosis, Pool B is Idra, In Control, Show, and Sheth. What do you think about that group?
I think it's actually the second hardest group.
The first being Pool A?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Pool A seems pretty ridiculous. Hey Pro is like really, really good. Of course, the others are too, but people might look and be like, I don't know which one. No. Hey Pro is like really good. But Idra and Sheth are both like amazingly good, and of course, Show and In Control are both very good as well. But those are two of the very top Zergs I feel like around. You know, in the whole of MLG, those will be two of the best Zerg players. And Sheth is getting a lot of good practice out here and stuff. You know, he's living the StarCraft life right now. He's already shown in the GSL he's playing really well. So I just see that as a very hard group to predict because, of course, In Control and Show can both take matches off of these guys, and then some random GSL guy. I mean, is it going to be Boxer? Is it going to be MMA? Is it going to be some other sicko?
Yeah, we still got
two
two players to announce there.
So without I mean, we don't know which groups the two Koreans already announced are in yet, right?
We do not, correct.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, it could change, but just assuming that all the Koreans are going to be the same in toughness, I would put Pool B as second hardest after Pool
A. Tyler, Pool. Oops, there we go. Close it. Pool C has Slush, Rhett, Sock, and Ruby. What do you think about that pool, Tyler?
I mean, it's not a really flashy pool, but it's going to be a very contested pool, I think. Rhett lost to Slush at Columbus, I think, and but his ZVZ is really sick, so I expect Rhett wants some revenge there against Slush. And Zaka has some pretty good PVZ. And Druby, you know, he's very consistent. Like, at any time, he can just beat anyone. I think a lot of people underestimate him. Maybe he doesn't get as much credit as he deserves, but he can definitely take a series off of anyone in that group. So it's going to be a pretty fun group to watch.
Sean, you still there?
I am.
Pool D, Kiwikaki Select, Moon and Machine. What are your thoughts?
Well, so I personally always kind of want to root for Kiwikaki.
I think everyone does almost.
Because, like, I mean, he's creative and solid and always generally does well, but I'm having a little bit of trouble, like, easily just being like, yeah, Kiwikaki, boom, there you go, because, like, he hasn't quite put the results on the table, recently. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't see a lot of Kiwikaki.
Yeah, he hasn't. I don't think he's played in too many tournaments. He's going to be playing in the IPL, I think.
Yeah.
Was he in the NASL top 16? I don't think he is actually.
I don't know.
I have the brackets right here. I can just look real quick. He is actually not. Now that I think about it, the last time I saw him play was Columbus, I want to say. It's been quite some time. So.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's one of those things where, I mean, honestly, like, I always feel like he should kind of be a contender, but I'm actually having a really hard time making any sort of commitment on Group D. Honestly, I will say they'll obviously select. He's going to win that group like million easy peasy. But all those players that I'm looking at have showed sort of variance, like really high variance recently. Like Select always plays really well, but was in the worst, shittiest group possible at last MLG. So he goes like 0-4 or 0-5 or however many. He lost as many games as you could in the group. And then got put in the losers bracket and started to tear his way through really good players. So, I mean, you know, I don't necessarily know if the last MLG is as good of a representation. But also, Moonin has had, like, a real high spike and then a sort of little rockiness as of late. I kind of want to see him continue to do well. And he's been on that kind of slow upward trend in the MLG, so I'm really hoping that continues.
I want to run through everyone real quick. And in past MLGs, there's always been, quote-unquote, a group of death. I feel like in skill levels across all of the 4 pools, this is probably one of the most even, if not the most even, pool distribution. But I want to know what you guys think is going to be the most interesting group to watch personally. So, Tyler, go ahead and start it off.
Oh boy. Well, I think, assuming everyone plays their best, I think Pool D is actually going to be the interesting one, the most interesting one. Mm-hmm. Pool A, I think it's just going to be a heartbreaker for everyone. It's like, well, you can't be happy about anything that happens because you just feel bad about, you know, what happens. So Pool B, Pool C, you know, good solid groups, but I don't expect anything crazy to happen there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Pool D, I mean, just exciting players, I think. Kiwikaki, definitely. Select, very exciting too when he's playing his best. And Moonin, a very good player, and of course we'll see how he does after he's been training on Korea for a while. And Machine, definitely a good player that can, when he's at his best, he's always had some problems bringing out his best play when it counts, but when he does, he plays really, really well. And I love watching Machine win. Just warms my heart. I'm sure it does for Artosis too.
He probably has his mic muted though, so he can't actually
comment.
No, it warms my heart, JP.
Okay. The obvious question, Tyler, kind of elephant in the room, is you're obviously not in any of the pools. You're going to be playing through, if you attend, you'll be playing through the Open. How does it make you feel going into the event?
Oh, it's okay, man. There's this really cool dude, big fan of him. He's a big inspiration. His name is Naniwa. He just showed up to MLG and rocked everything and then won it, so... you know, Brotos love. I'm not too afraid.
All right. Well, I'm sure a lot of fans will be watching to see how that actually goes for you. Naniwa, which one of the 4 groups really stands out to you? If you could sit home and watch, which ones would you not miss?
I'm not going to say my own, so I'll just pick B, C, or D.
You gotta pick one, man. You can pick all of them.
Got him. Next.
B. Yeah, probably B.
For what reasons?
I think In Control always surprises us at MLG. So I'm really curious to see how he's going to do. Idra is always good. Mm-hmm. And Show is always very solid. He can always perform quite well. And Chef has been in Korea, so...
Yeah.
I think all of the players have a chance to get top 1. going to be quite good, I think.
Do you guys feel like Sheth is one of those players where the only thing or the biggest thing holding him back are his nerves? Does anyone else feel like that? No?
No.
Maybe. He's really good in practice, but it's too early to tell. He's only been at like one land, so maybe he will perform a lot better in the future, but it's up to prove it, I suppose.
Right, right. Artosis, if you could stay at home and watch any of these pools, which one would it be?
I guess Pool A. I'm really excited to see how that turns out. I don't know what shape TLO will actually be in because I know he hasn't been playing because of his carpal. So what I'm more interested in is these amazing PvPs that you've been loving, JP. And
wait, do you play WoW, Dan? Is that what you're getting at?
Well, I just want to see if maybe I've just been missing out. But I want to see what HeyPro has. I mean, he's actually still just so good, and I love to see Macro Zerg, so that's going to be pretty exciting. But I do have to give a shout out to Pool B too. I think that's going to be really exciting to see if In Control can actually take down Idra vs. Sheth, and the Idra vs. Sheth ZVZ is the one ZVZ that I'm actually excited about in the tournament.
Should be a lot of fun. Sean, what is your Pool 2 watch? Nope. Did we lose Sean? Maybe. I guess so. Well, we'll get his thoughts here in a couple of minutes when he comes back. But in the meantime, Boxer has been announced to actually attend MLG. It's going to be kind of a big thing. I'm very excited for that. MMA being the other announcement. Naniwa and what? I don't think Tyler. Tyler, you obviously watched them, but MMA coming and Boxer coming. What are your initial thoughts? Tyler?
I don't know.
I just like, you guys gonna talk?
I mean, Boxer, he's a legend and all that, but his story for the longest time now has been he's not the best player anymore. So we'll just have to see, how good he is at the game when he shows up. But it's an amazing step to have him come to. I mean, it's just amazing whenever he shows up to an event. Like,
right.
You want Boxer there. That's just really epic. So I'm glad he's there, but competitively, I don't think he's the most deserving player of it, just going off skill.
Mm-hmm.
MMA, obviously, a huge threat. So, yeah, pretty much the opposite story there. He's making a name for himself, obviously, but he's just been all skill. And now the community knows it, but I think going into the first MLG Columbus that he went to, unless you were really like in the know in the scene, you probably didn't think of MMA as, one of the best Terrans. Well, and there's so many good Korean Terrans that, that's still kind of contestable, but there were some people that knew MMA was serious business, and now everyone knows how good he is, so he's kind of got a reputation to uphold at this point. You got to think he's the favorite going into it.
You think he's the favorite to win the entire thing again?
Well, we got to see who the other Koreans are.
Right,
but
right.
It's going to be hard for anyone else to beat him. I mean, it's hard for me to say that someone is the favorite against him based on who's in the tournament right now.
Artosis, what do you think about... Tyler just spoke to how MMA was kind of not well known as being one of these great players. What are your thoughts on a player such as some of these lesser known kind of Code B players, a player like Dong Ragu coming? How do you think he would do in a foreigner tournament?
Shit. Keep him far away from America.
Yeah.
Don't let him come.
Code B has, as Tyler was saying,
is the strongest playing field.
Code B has a sprinkling of players that, are potential GSL champions. Like right now, there's some insanely good players down in Code B. So, you bring someone like Dong Ragu, which, now that you say it, that would be a good choice, wouldn't it? He just won that little tournament, that 3D tournament, and he's all the rage everywhere. They have two Terrans already. Why not bring a Zerg, right?
That's true. We'll see.
Don Gregu could win, man. I mean, he's like Lucira. He's just a top player. And just because he's not, I mean, the tournament to get into Code A is just ridiculous. So, I mean, even if they come out of Code B, you can't be like, no, don't worry. You know, Nano will crush him. Well, he probably will, but Don Gregu's pretty scared. Man.
Nano, of all the kind of, I guess, Koreans out there, which one player would you never want to see in MLG that you were playing at?
Never want to see?
Yeah, just because you were,
What do you mean?
you'd be too nervous or too afraid to go up against them.
No, I can't answer such a question. I only want to play the best players. I will never fear someone.
Who would be the best
purely
player
because of
then
that.
for GSL to exchange with MLG?
Best in what way? Like, easiest for me to beat, or the most fun for me to play?
Most fun for you to play, most competitive.
Just say ST already, come on.
Yeah, I'm just like saying ST, man. Is that the
I'm not
go-to
good
answer?
enough against Zerg right now to really test my potential. But I want to play against Bomber. Right, Bomber. Sorry,
No,
Tyler. Sorry.
Saint Bomber.
Saint Bomber.
Yeah, Startail
Good old
Bomber.
Saint Bomber.
Bomber or MMA. I really think I would have a serious shot at beating them, but that's all up to test right now.
That's kind of been on your checklist of things to do, hasn't it? Just beat. Obviously, beating MC was a big thing for you, but you really want to play against a lot of the Koreans, right?
Well, I don't have anything left to prove against Europeans or Americans, so I just want to beat the best Koreans right now. That's all that counts for me.
All right. Well, Artosis and Day 9, you guys are going to be headed to Ontario, California later this week to participate, or excuse me, to commentate the NASL Season 1 Finals. Just to do a little bit of a bracket preview. Starting in the round of 16, we're going to kick off with Red versus Puma. Artosis, you were kind of talking Puma up earlier. How do you think that's going to go? Since Mike muted again.
Here, I'll grab the reins on this one.
All right.
I mean, honestly, I think that Red's strongest matchup is a ZVT. I think of all the Zergs who sort of do the standard Ling Muta-ish style, he's like far and away like one of the best of it. I mean, it's actually really impressive to watch a lot of his games from MLG where there'd be these Terrans and it would be kind of like a little hard and looking kind of close. Then all of a sudden, Rhett would suddenly have like a 200 food lead and just do really good counterattacks. It's really nice. Yeah, I mean, I still have to give credit to Puma. I mean, like Artosis says, I mean, I just kind of am starting to really have a lot of good feelings for the fact that all the Koreans are just practicing so much. It's really, really impressive. So I kind of hope to feel or to see something cool come out of that matchup at the very least, to see if Rhett has been training enough for it.
Some of the other round of 16, Moro versus July. Artosis, you got any thoughts?
You know, I'm going to give it to Morrow. I don't really like the European style of ZVZ. I think it evolved wrong, and it doesn't seem all that awesome to me. But July, despite how many times he says it's the contrary, I think has one of the worst CVZs of any top player. I just hate his style. He's just like, he just like goes all in randomly and stuff. And like, if you watch Nestea versus July, he's like, oh, there's 1,000 spine crawlers. I think I'll attack into there. Oh, there's ultras too. No, that's fine. I have roaches. It's like, well, no, actually, no, that's not fine. So
Morrow won't play CVC.
Yeah, apparently
he's going to TVZ him.
The
Yeah.
Team Liquid.
Okay, then I think.
Oh, that's right. That's
July
right.
will
Never mind.
take it.
I was about to call Team Liquid a liar, but then I was like, oh yeah, Moro's just going to play T.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
he's going
think.
to play Terran.
I think July will take it then. I think Mora would have been better off finding someone like Idra and just CVZing for a couple days, but I really do not respect July's ZVZ at all, so I think July's getting off easy there.
Towards the bottom of the bracket is where things, for me, is where I'm really going to be watching. White Raw versus Select seem like it's going to be an incredible match. Towards the bottom, Tyler, how do you think that's going to go?
It's going to be pretty interesting. I think Select is the more mechanically solid player, and White Raw is the guy that gets you with his builds. Yeah, he has these timings, and he has these compositions, and he has these tactics that
Special
are
tactics.
Kind of special, one might
yeah.
say.
But Select is, at least I know his TVP, I think, is a little bit boring and straightforward, but his mechanics are really good. So that'll be like kind of a clash of two styles. So I think it'll be pretty interesting to see, can White Raw put something together that'll surprise Select and take a win, or will Select just brace himself for whatever White Raw is going to throw at him?
If I could just interject for one moment on that opinion, I think that you almost nailed exactly what I think, but I also feel like if the game goes super long, I feel like it goes back to White Raw. I almost feel like with Select, that like Supreme late game, I feel like he almost gets a certain number of base. He's like, all right, I'm good. I'm gonna kill him. And whereas White Raw is more of a StarCraft 1 guy, he's like, no, I'll make nexuses everywhere, if I have to. I don't know. I feel like if the game goes really, really long against White Raw, most players are going to lose, and I feel like Select's in that group.
That's
really long.
I'd say that's a good opinion. White Raw can go into a pretty sick late game mode.
Yeah.
Anyway, MC Boxer, how do you think that's going to go? MC just going to take that?
Oh God, Boxer
MC is going to destroy him.
Sean Boxer needs to win.
Yeah,
won't be a
come on.
contest.
I've been playing StarCraft since I was a wee little lad. In 6th grade is when I started, and I knew about Boxer not long after then. So,
well,
skill wise, yeah, probably MC will win, but God, Boxer needs to win that one bad, man. That literally would be the greatest thing known to man.
Was it Boxer that you were too nervous to talk to?
Yep.
Are you going to talk? If you don't talk to him at NASL, you have a chance at MLG still, right?
Yeah.
I want to.
Hassubs beat Boxer 3-0, so
yeah,
I don't see any chance for him against MC.
Yeah. Artosis?
I do want to say just a few things about that matchup and Boxer in particular. First off, MC can be tricked. He's gotten better about it lately, but he was playing like back when Tyler was on State of the Game, saying, "You know what? No, his way he plays isn't right." He was right, man. I mean, when I heard that, I was like clapping in the subway. Everyone was looking at me funny while I was listening to my podcast because it was true, man. I mean, the guy is just like, okay, I only see one barracks, and so he makes a nexus. It's like, well, you can't just always play like that. So Boxer might be able to trick him. Okay, I mean, it's possible. But another thing to say is back in StarCraft 1 when everyone said Boxer's washed up like 8 times, he would be like, well, no, I'm not actually washed up, and then like make a finals of OSL crushing like good players beneath his feet. So this guy actually, I don't know what his mindset is right now. I don't know if he's really motivated to do that. Who knows? By now he has to be a millionaire, so he has the potential. If for some reason Boxer's decided to be really great again, then he will be able to beat anyone. He's done it so many times in the past in StarCraft 1. And, I mean, he's had reasonable performances in StarCraft 2, so I wouldn't count him completely out.
Looking at the rest of the bracket, towards the bottom is really the most exciting part. Chef Squirtle, that could be pretty interesting, I think.
Chef.
I think, Chef.
Sin Zenio, is there a clear-cut winner there?
Zenio, Jet Grind, Zenio.
And then the other two are Dark Force Alive and, of course, Hasuob's Moon. Pretty stacked round of 16, though, for sure. That's going to be kicking off.
Yeah.
Sean or Artosis, when is that tournament actually starting?
Friday.
Sean about to bust into his favorite song of all time.
Are we moving on from NASL finals?
If you want to, Dan.
Whatever. I'm just saying. I want to just say that I feel like if everyone plays their absolute best in this tournament, I think that Puma will win. I'm just saying.
I thought you were going to be like, it's going to be a great tournament for esports, but no, you're just like, no, Puma's going to win.
No, dude, I want to make my my prediction. I think that
if everyone plays their best, something I said 3 years ago, I'm right about it. No, let me tell you something. If everyone plays their best, Boxer needs to win. Who are these people who like aren't rooting for Slayer's Boxer? Even people playing against Slayer's Boxer want to lose. They're just like, oh god, I hope he trained harder than I did, man. That would be just the greatest thing ever to get smashed by Slayer's Boxer. You guys aren't real esports fanatics. Yeah, all of you are fake.
God.
You
You
Well-
really haven't won tournaments.
I think that's actually it for my topics.
Yeah.
We aren't going to do Twitter questions or questions in general this week. We'll probably be doing that next week. But, of course, as always, for the end of State of the Game, we'll be doing shout-outs. So we'll go around here in the grid, so to speak. And in State of the Game fashion, Tyler, you got to go first.
Wait, what? I wasn't listening.
In State of the Game fashion, Tyler wasn't listening. You got some shout-outs, sir?
Shoutouts. Yeah, well, first of all, my awesome team, Team Liquid. Go to teamliquidpro.com. That's our website. Thanks to our sponsor, the Little App Factory, Razer, and thanks to Stride Gum. And thanks to Permafrost Vodka, Alaska Distillery. You guys are awesome.
You guys are awesome. Here's a nice little bottle right here of Permafrost. Thank you. Did you get shirts, Tyler? Are you wearing the shirt?
I'm wearing the salmon vodka.
Wait, you're wearing the salmon vodka? I'm wearing the polar
Yeah.
bear shirt. We're a bunch of fucking fanboys and shit. Wait, hold on. Everyone look at the salmon shirt. Okay, there you go. Naniwa, you got some shout-outs?
Just the standard to my Team Dignitas. Then I have a random shoutout. I owe you one. Secret one.
Oh my god,
Uh-oh.
is there like a fangirl out there who's just like, squeeze?
I don't know what you're talking about. Man. I don't know what you're talking.
That's how they sound too. Yeah.
Squeeze! Well, see, I have to say it in a way that you could use in a comic book. It has to be letterable, you know. So SQUEEE exclamation mark.
Sean, you got any fangirls you want to shout out to?
The biggest fangirl would be, of course, myself. Like
shout
everyone
out to myself.
Shout out to myself. Yeah, day9.tv. I have a website that is amazing. I like to give out a special shout out to a fine individual who is helping all that go so smoothly. So that fine individual knows who that individual is. Also, definitely check out the After Hours Gaming League that I just announced on this show. Follow it on Twitter, AHGLTV, or go to afterhoursgaming.tv. I'm really excited about it, and most importantly, again, I strongly encourage people to promote it and talk about it just to get more awareness for it, because I think it would be a really, really good tool to help legitimize esports as a whole and make it more mainstream.
And last but not least, Artosis, your first episode as a pillar. Quite
Yes.
happy with it. You got any
Yes,
shout-outs?
Thank you to Sixjacks, my team, sixjacksgaming.com. Of course, check me on Twitter. I think it's below me right there, at Artosis. My YouTube, youtube.com/ArtosisTV. TheHandsomeNerd.com, all of your nerd t-shirt needs, the best t-shirts in the whole world, even though none of my friends that I gave them to are wearing them today.
Hey, man, we got to give love to Perma, man.
Arcade educated. Yeah. Yeah, hold on. Look at my breasts. Arcade educated.
Look at that handsome guy.
Yes.
All right. I think that's it for me. Thank you. I'm so glad to be a part of the State of the Game.
Awesome, man. Well,
You guys are awesome.
if you missed the intro, Artosis will be here every week, so will Tyler and Sean. Naniwa, thank you so much for coming on as a guest. We'll, of course, have you back on in the future. We'll have to get a hold of you when you go to Korea, which, when are you actually going to be heading there, Naniwa?
It was set 18th July, but I'm not really sure anymore. It will be for sure around 18th to 24th July at least.
Awesome. Well, make sure also...
So I'll at least have to practice some before MLG.
Right.
Hopefully I'll have a chance there.
Awesome. Make sure to follow Naniwa. He actually just made his Twitter account.
Oh! Artosis, what the hell is that?
What?
What's up there, man? I was knocking stuff over being loud, so now it's on the stream. Wait with me, Aaron.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my god. Everyone go follow Naniwa on Team Dignitas, so I interrupted, but I just saw this thing and I was just like, Artosis, you're under attack. Raise the roof.
I don't know, guys. I don't know how to get out of that. But thanks for tuning in so much. Huge shout out. We've been streaming, I think, for 12 hours, 10 hours now here at MLG Live Studios. Hopefully you guys got a nice preview of really what's to come. And once we know really where we're going to be doing State of the Game each week, I will announce that, of course, on the official thread, so check out that as well. And follow all of us on Twitter. You can find that right below our beautiful mugs here on the webcam. So thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you guys next week sometime right here at MLG_live on Justin TV. We're out. Everyone wave goodbye on your webcams. See you guys next week.